Hare Krishna. So there is 4 hours between 2022 and 2023. So as we are moving to 2023, it's always good to reflect what went right, what could have been better, and how we could have made a difference in a very positive way. So I have few thoughts to share, but before I do that, let me ask you in general, like when there is a New Year celebration, which happens probably, I'm sure, in this room itself, there was Mataji's son, Brijesh's son. How old is he? Few months? 3 months? 10 months. Where is Brijesh? 10 months old to, we have also senior citizens. Right, so we have a gamut of different people from different age. I'm sure we all have celebrated New Year in our lives, except for probably the 10-month-old baby. But what does this come to your mind when 31st December comes and you are waiting for the New Year to come? What are the common thoughts that you have? Sankalp program, okay. Those of you who do not know what Sankalp program is, you have to go to ISKCON Bangalore on 31st December to know this. But we take a lot of resolutions on 31st night there, spiritual resolutions. Any other thoughts? What do you usually do when you are not in Krishna consciousness? 31st night. You should not ask me. Generally, what comes, like, on 31st night, what do people do? Have a lot of fun, party, okay? Dance.
Sleep.
Huh?
Like me, I like to sleep.
Sleep a lot, yeah, true. Yeah, many people like that. So, and all of you have assembled here. Maybe there is something which has inspired you to come here, that you want to attend this, but you might be having some doubts in some corner of your mind. What if probably I would have gone to some other place which would have been more vibrant, and there could be some more fun, whatever somebody said, fun and all. And I'm here amidst all these devotees in a temple. Did I do right or wrong? Before even I say further, I want to clarify that for one doubt first. So, to know that, I want to quote a Mahajan. How many Mahajans are there? 12 Mahajans. We will see one Mahajan who says when people are engaged in those kind of activities, what happens and what is his opinion. We will see that, but before I show you what that Mahajan says, let me ask you, how many of you in life, now this is 2022, some of you would have seen the entire 22 years of 2000, maybe some more in 90s. Is there anybody who has seen 1800s here? Nobody? Okay, I thought maybe. Okay, so now that 2022 is going on, we have lived some part of our life. How many of you feel there is some kind of fear inside for something? Is there anything that you were afraid of? Is there anything that you are scared of? Is there anything that you want to overcome? You want to? Which one?
I'm still scared of the dark.
Dark, okay. That's not so difficult. As you grow up, and with the help of some adults, you will be able to.
Loss. Fear of loss.
Fear of loss of near and dear ones, or loss
of anything.
Anything. Okay. Fear of loss. Yeah. Not easy. Very difficult to cope with. Somebody loses job. Somebody loses some near and dear ones. Profits. Something happens in things. There is a fear of that. What else? What are the other fears? Fear of. Yes, mother. No, you were saying something. Sarvalakshmi. Fear of.
Fear of old age.
Fear of old age. Yeah. Actually, none of us want to grow old. I mean, it's an honest thing. And how it happens. Actually, there is a Hindi lecture which Prabhupada has given on one of the verses which is there in Bhagavatam, where it is mentioned Dhritarashtra quits home. So some instructions given by Vidura. In that there is one word which is used for kala, time, as dustara. It is insurmountable and it is imperceptible. How time goes, people don't realize. Like how our nails grow, we don't realize. It just comes to a point where we feel now it is time to trim. Or how our hairs grow, we don't know. I mean, it grows and then we have to cut it. Kala Parama Dustara. It's very insurmountable. And in that Hindi lecture, Prabhupada says, Budhapa chupchap aa jata hai. It doesn't make any noise, it just comes. And it happens to all of us. With the young people, they might be thinking what these people are talking. We have a lot of life to live. The old people are thinking, my God, I'm so close. My time is running quickly. Like that, we have different kinds of fear. But here, the Mahajan that I'm referring to is fearful of someone, and let's see what he's saying. Very interesting verse. You can repeat after me. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, 9th chapter, 43rd verse, spoken by Prahlad Maharaj. नैवोद्विजे परदुरत्यया वैतरण्यास् नैवोद्विजे परदुरत्यया वैतरण्यास् त्वद्वीर्यगायेन महामृतमग्नचित्तः सोचेततो विमुखचेतस इन्द्रियार्थ माया सुखाय भरम् उद्भत विमूढान्. It's a wonderful verse, very, very powerful verse. Actually, people who are ignorant, who are not aware of their own constitutional position, are mad in the Maya Sukhaya. Soche tato vimukha chetasa indriyartha Maya Sukhaya bharamudvata vimudhan. Vimudhan are ignorant people, foolish people, and they are going after the sense gratification madly. Maya Sukhaya. The word soche used here is referring to fearful. Let's read the translation. You can repeat after me. O best of the great personalities. I am not at all afraid of material existence. For wherever I stay, I am fully absorbed in thoughts of your glories and activities. My concern is only for the fools and rascals who are making elaborate plans for material happiness and maintaining their families, societies, and countries. I am simply concerned with love for them. So if you see this is the beautiful verse of Prahlad Maharaj. He's not fearful of the scary form of Lord who has appeared to tear apart his own father, Hiranyakashipu. He's not fearful of the material existence. Why? Because he's telling, I'm Magna Chitta. I'm completely absorbed in the words and thoughts and glories and activities of the Lord. Magna Chitta. So who is he scared of? What is he fearful of? He is fearful of those people who are Vimudha, Indriyartha Maya Sukhaya, who are constantly engaged madly in this material happiness, who are making elaborate plans for material happiness and maintaining their families, societies and countries. I'm simply concerned with love for them. Why? Because these plans, this Maya Sukha, this is an illusion. And when somebody is indulging in that, he's not realizing that he's implicating himself with the reactions. And these reactions are very, very complicated, very, very strong. They are very, very tight, very difficult to come out of it. But just because little flickering, illusory happiness, there is a promise of happiness, we get so maddened, so engrossed in this, and we are, implicating ourselves. That is why a Mahajan, a pure devotee, what is his concern? Why is he's feeling out of compassion? My God, these people, how foolish they are. And they're madly engrossed. Go to this Boston city outside 31st night, how people will be, busy drinking, partying, and all these things. And what happens on 1st of Jan? The New Year will it will begin with hangover. It'll have so many problems, so many other repercussions. Money is lost, something, so many things. And this is how we begin our New Year. But we keep wishing each other Happy New Year. Actually, there is nothing happy in this New Year, and there is nothing new in this New Year. Just another year. So if you're missing, or if you're thinking that you would have been better off, think again, because this is not my words. This is Bhagavatam's words. This is Prahlad Maharaj's words. These are Mahajan's words. Very powerful. So if that is the case, next half an hour or so that we have, let me ask you, what should be done then? Okay, we will not indulge in Maya Sukha. What should we do? What is the best use of time? You all had, I hope, you all had prasadam? Who's prasadam? Prasadam is always greatly, mercy of the Lord. Actually, we should recollect and we should remember how fortunate we are at the end of 2022, and when we are ready to welcome the new year, we should always remember how grateful we should be to some very special people in our lives who have made a huge difference. I remember there is one movie when I was a child I had seen called Diwar. Amitabh Bachchan and Sasi Kapoor. One becomes the thief, the other one becomes a police officer. And there is a scene which comes where they both are coming and there is a railway station platform. And they'll be talking about क्या है तुम्हारे पास? क्या है? मेरे पास बंगला है, गाड़ी है, this है, that है, वो है. And then Shashi Kapoor says, मेरे पास माँ है. And then there is that engine comes and hits the bogie, and the scene ends there. Right, like that, this materialistic people also sometimes, just imaginary, just you can imagine. If they are asking, क्या है तुम्हारे पास? देखो मेरे पास, मैं आज 31st night यहाँ पे celebrate कर रहा हूँ, ये है, वो है, this thing, that thing. It's just one word, मेरे पास प्रभुपाद है. It is much more powerful than even मेरे पास माँ है. माँ तो सबके पास है, but Prabhupada is very, very special. Actually, sometimes we need some occasion like this to remind ourselves how fortunate we are, how much of mercy we have gotten from Prabhupada. We would have not been sitting here had Prabhupada not been there in our lives. Impossible. Where we would be, right? We don't want to mention about that also, right? So where we would be. So let us, the time that we have, let us spend some time in understanding the values, the gifts that Prabhupada has given, and how we take it so granted. Sometimes we don't even value the Vaishnavas with whom we are associating. Very rarest of rare. You go out. We did some kirtan in one of the busiest places in Boston. In what is that place called? Huh? Faneuil Hall Market, whatever that place. A lot of people were walking. Hardly any people noticed. Hardly people participated or appreciated. But there were few. Not that they were not. But even if there is an inclination, some people may want to come and join, but they know there is something else in their life which is of importance or which is of priority to them, and they could not stop. They were busy. Look at our great fortune that because of Srila Prabhupada's mercy, we are getting a chance to hear about the glories of the Lord. It's not an ordinary thing at all, and that we find it difficult because we don't have proper understanding. But when we understand this, sometimes it is too late. Maybe this life is also insufficient. But whenever it strikes, we will that time realize, my God, how my life got transformed, how fortunate I am. So what we will do is, I will share one verse, and that verse we will chant, and then there is a different way today we will do in welcoming the new year. I'll share what is the different way. First I want to mention, Hare Krishna. First, I want to mention about, this is a verse which is spoken by Parikshit Maharaj. Okay, Parikshit Maharaj. Imagine if you are in the shoes of Parikshit Maharaj. You know exactly 7 days time is remaining, and the 7 days time is very, very critical, very crucial, and he's scared. He knows he's on the verge of death. Death is imminent. Nobody can stop it. He's very concerned, he's very careful, he's scared. How should I spend this time? This is if you really want to ask the value or the importance of time, ask a person who knows his death is sure, his death is imminent, it's just coming. How much they will be careful of. They don't want to waste any time, any second, any moment. For us, we think we have a lot of time. Even if somebody is 80, 90, he thinks I have 90, no. I mean, like that, some people think. But here, Parikshit Maharaj, certain, sure about 7 days' time, and he is asking Sukadev Goswami, and this is a very beautiful verse. The reason it is a beautiful verse because Jiva Goswami elaborately mentions about this verse when he is talking about the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. You can repeat after me. Etad veditum ichhami. Etad veditum ichhami. Tattvam tattvavidambara. Tattvam tattvavidambara. Hareradbhutaviryasya. Kathaloka sumangalaha. Kathaloka sumangalaha. So this is a request of Parikshit Maharaj before the conversation begins. Etad veditum ichhami. I want to know this. Veditum. Etad veditum ichhami. Tattvam tattva vidambara. Vara is Shrestha, is the topmost. I want to know that topmost truth. Tattvam tattva vidam. You are the knower of the truth. Tattva vid. Tattvam tattva vidam vara. What is that? Tattva vara, vara tattva, or which is the highest truth? Harera Adbhuta Viryasya. Harera Adbhuta. Wonderful potency of the Lord. Hari, the activities of the Lord are so wonderful. Harera Adbhuta Viryasya Katha Loka Sumangala. This Katha is auspicious for everyone, for every single person. The king said, I wish to know narrations concerning the Lord who possess wonderful potencies are certainly auspicious for living beings in all planets. In this small purport, Prabhupada writes, just pay attention, very interesting. Srimad Bhagavatam, which is full of narrations of the activities of the Supreme Lord, is auspicious for all living beings residing in every planet. One who takes it as belonging to a particular sect is certainly mistaken. Srimad Bhagavatam is certainly a very dear scripture for all the devotees of the Lord. But it is auspicious even for the non-devotees. Also, because it explains that even the non-devotees hovering under the spell of material energy can be delivered from such clutches if they hear the narrations of the Srimad Bhagavatam with devotion and attention from the right source representing the Lord by disciplic succession. You may say that Srimad Bhagavatam is just dear to the devotees of the Lord. It is definitely dear, but it is auspicious even for the non-devotees. Because it explains that even the non-devotees hovering under the spell of material energy can be delivered from such clutches if they hear the narrations of the Srimad Bhagavatam with devotion and attention from the right source. Of course, quality of hearing is very important, devotion and attention from the right source representing the Lord by disciplic succession. This is what Parikshit Maharaj says at the beginning. Etad veditum ichhami tattvam tattva vidambara. I have got exactly maybe half an hour, and we will take one verse, and what we will do, this is what we will read, and I want you to participate in this and see how you are learning this one verse with me. The verse that I have put is not the right one. Okay. By the way, before we go and see today's verse, is it visible there? Okay, you can see that, right? So this is one verse which says how Bhagavatam, we just saw that, Parikshit Maharaj, who's at the cusp of, death, is, it's like death, the jaws of death is holding him, and he's scared, he's fearful, not really fearful, but he's thinking how best he can utilize his time. Etad veditum ichhami, and he's telling Tattvam tattva vidambara Harera Adbhuta Viryasya Loka Katha Loka Sumangala. He wants to hear the glories of the Lord, which is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. How do we understand? How do we hear this Srimad Bhagavatam? This one verse, one line, it says how we should actually apply, how we should learn this Bhagavatam and apply in our lives. Just read this, you can chant after me. Srimad Bhagavatam Puranam Amalam Yad Vaishnavanam Priyam Yasmin Paramahamsyam Ekam Amalam Jnanam Param Giyate Tatra Jnana Viraga Bhakti Sahitam Naiskarmyam Avishkritam Tat Shranvan Supathan Vicharan Paro Bhaktya Vimuchyen Naraha. So this verse of Bhagavatam says how we should learn, how we should understand this philosophy of Bhagavatam. Tat Shranvan, here, first you hear, then Supathan, repeatedly recite, Supathan and Vicharan. Then you meditate, contemplate upon this. Vicharan paro bhaktya vimuchyan naraha. Vimuchyan, one becomes free. Vimuchyan is to become liberated. Any person will become liberated just by following this process. Shunvan, Supathan, Vicharan. We will do that exact thing with this one verse. And that is our... Okay, now you can repeat after me. There's a very different way we'll do this, and let's see how it acts, whether you'll be able to get this or not. We will see that proof of the pudding lies in eating. We will see how it goes. Rajo Vacha Siddhosmi Anugrihitosmi Bhavata Karunatmana Sravito yacca me sakshat Anadi nidhano harihi Rajo vacha Siddhosmi anugrihitosmi Bhavata karunatmana Sravito yacca me sakshat Anadi nidhano harihi Rajo vacha Siddhosmi anugrihitosmi Bhavata karunatmana Sravito yacca me sakshat Anadi nidhano harihi Synonyms: Raja Vacha. King Parikshit said, Siddhaha, fully successful. Asmi, I am. Anugrihitaha, shown great mercy. Asmi, I am. Bhavata, by your good self. Karuna Atmana, who are full of mercy. Sravitaha, has been described orally. Yad, because. Cha, and. Me, to me. Sakshat, directly. Anadi, who has no beginning. Nidhanaha, or end. Harihi, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Maharaj Parikshit said, you can repeat. Maharaj Parikshit said, I have now achieved the purpose of my life. Because a great and merciful soul, like you, has shown such kindness to me. You have personally spoken to me this narration of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, who is without beginning or end. Now what we will do is, as I said, Shrinvan, Supathan, Vicharan. So we heard this. Now what we will do, I'll close this screen sharing. Don't look at your mobile. We will chant this verse and understand each of these words properly. Okay, so let me stop sharing. Still shared. Okay. So you can repeat after me. Siddhosmi anugrihitosmi.
Siddhosmi anugrihitosmi.
Siddhosmi anugrihitosmi.
Siddhosmi anugrihitosmi.
Siddhosmi anugrihitosmi.
Siddhosmi anugrihitosmi.
Anybody wants to repeat? One at a time. Siddhosmi anugrihitosmi. Siddhosmi anugrihitosmi. Siddhosmi anugrihitosmi. Only Mataji's. Siddhosmi anugrihitosmi.
Siddhosmi anugrahitosmi.
Siddhosmi anugrihitosmi.
Siddhosmi anugrihitosmi.
Siddhosmi anugrihitosmi.
Siddhosmi anugrahitosmi.
Siddhosmi anugrihitosmi. One correction here. Sometimes, when we are pronouncing or we are chanting, we say Siddho Asmi, Anugrahito Asmi. But it is not, when the word Asmi is there, and when you are singing or when you are chanting it, actually Bhagavatam is a song. The meaning of Bhagavatam becomes alive when you sing it with the right meter. And if you sing Siddho Asmi Anugrahito Asmi, it is not falling in the meter. Siddhosmi anugrihitosmi.
Siddhosmi anugrihitosmi.
Everybody wants to chant?
Siddhosmi anugrihitosmi.
Siddhosmi anugrihitosmi.
Siddhosmi anugrihitosmi.
Very good.
Siddhosmi anugrihitosmi.
Siddhosmi anugrihitosmi. The word is anugrihito. That I it has to be stretched. Siddhosmi anugrihitosmi.
Siddhosmi anugrihitosmi.
Perfect, you got the first line. Now let me ask you, what is the meaning of the word Siddha? Prove. Okay.
Successful in that.
That's the exact word-to-word meaning. Fully successful. You memorize, that's good. But what is the word Siddha we use? Usually what is the meaning? Perfection. Right? Imagine if a person comes, Jatin walks in. Prabhuji, actually 31st December, no? 2022, I have achieved the perfection of life. Imagine if a person comes and walks in and says to me, I am the one who have achieved the perfection of my life. What will you say to him? What is the first thing that comes to your mind? How proud this fellow is. How much of pride he has is coming and telling, I have achieved the perfection of life. Parikshit Maharaj, this is the end, towards the end of Bhagavatam, is telling Siddhosmi. I have become fully successful. There is a full stop, there is nothing after that. But Anugrihitosmi. It is by the mercy of Sukadeva Goswami. Siddhosmi anugrihitosmi.
Siddhosmi anugrihitosmi.
सिद्धोऽस्मि अनुगृहीतोऽस्मि
सिद्धोऽस्मि अनुगृहीतोऽस्मि
भवता करुणात्मना
भवता करुणात्मना
भवता करुणात्मना
भवता करुणात्मना
Anybody wants to chant the second line?
Bhavata Parana
Karuणात्मना.
Karunatma
Na. Okay. Bhavata karuणात्मना Bhavata karuणात्मना
Bhavata Karunatmana
Bhavata karuणात्मना
Bhavata Karunatmana
Bhavata karuणात्मना
Bhavata Karunatmana
Bhavata karuणात्मना Bhavata karuणात्मना Bhavata karuणात्मना Bhavata karuणात्मना. Actually, you can stretch that line. Bhavata is A. Bhavata karuणात्मना Bhavata karuणात्मना. What is the meaning of the word bhavata? Bhavata is, when you are addressing someone with respect by your good self. Bhavata karunatmana. Your, again, that mercy. Again, the mercy he is talking about. What is the mercy that Sukadeva Goswami, Parikshit Maharaj is again and again talking about? To know this, there is a beautiful verse which comes in the Bhagavatam, 1st canto, 2nd chapter, 3rd verse. Yasvanubhavam akhila shruti saramekam adhyatma deepam atiti satam tamo andham samsarinam karunaya purana guhyam tam vyasa sunamupayami munim guruna. Yasvanubhavam akhila shruti saramekam. This Bhagavatam is the cream of all Vedic literature. Saram is like, that malai which gets formed in the milk when we heat it, that malai, that Yasvanubhavam akhila shruti saramekam. Akhila, the entire Vedic literature, the cream of that is Srimad Bhagavatam. And that Bhagavatam was personally realized, it was experienced by Sukadeva Goswami, and he narrated this to Sutta Goswami. Yasvanubhavam akhila shruti saramekam adhyatma deepam atitirshatam tamo andham. Carrying the torchlight of the spiritual knowledge, Sukadeva Goswami, to remove the darkness of ignorance from those people who are in this Kali Yuga, to remove that completely. Yasvanubhavam akhila shruti saramekam Yasvanubhavam akhila shruti saramekam adhyatma deepam atitirshatam tamo andham samsarinam karunayah purana aham. Samsarinam karunayah purana guhyam. So this Purana he spoke, seeing at the complicated, the perplexities, the material, the struggle for material existence. This samsara is a cycle of birth and death. Karunaya, out of great compassion, Sukadeva Goswami spoke. And this is what Parikshit Maharaj is telling, that Siddhosmi Anugrahitosmi Bhavata Karunatmana. Karunatmana, that mercy, it is something, actually, just to give you the example of a mercy, Srila Prabhupada's spiritual master is? Who's Srila Prabhupada's spiritual master? Founder of Gaudiya Math. Okay, there are hands raised. Okay, who wants to? Let's start with the kids. Okay.
Krishna?
No.
Puri Goswami?
Which Goswami? Pundari?
Puri, is it Puri Goswami?
Puri Goswami? No. He is one god brother of Srila Prabhupada, but he is disciple of His Divine Grace,
Chaitanya?
Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, why did I go there? Why did I ask you Srila Prabhupada's spiritual master. The reason being, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, his disciples were supposed to chant 64 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. 64 rounds. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was telling that if somebody is not chanting 64 rounds, he's not even a human being. So, initially when ISKCON was started, Prabhupada also was asking his disciples to chant 64 rounds. But then, the disciples said, Prabhupada, 64 is too much, we can't do it. So it became 32. Then also they said, well, that is too much, we can't do it. Prabhupada said 16, no less. 16, no less is actually a mercy of Srila Prabhupada. Otherwise, we were supposed to chant 64 rounds of Hare Krishna. 16, no less, Prabhupada said. Such a great mercy. That means whatever you are lacking, because you are not chanting, 64 minus 16 is how much? 48. 48 rounds that you are not chanting, it is compensated by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. The mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we have no idea actually how merciful a guru is, how merciful a spiritual master is. One has to realize that. I'll give you just two examples. One is a story. Hear with attention. It's a real story. It's a true story, real life story. There was a rich man in UK, very rich, filthy rich, and he had only one son. And this rich man, because he was busy in his business and amassing wealth, neglected his son. So the son went astray. He was doing all kinds of wrong things, and it became too late. And the father realized that now, the son is not in my control. One day he called his son, and he said that, well, my son, because of my negligence, you've taken the wrong path. Now I have decided I will not give you any money. I will not give you any money, and you have to earn your own livelihood. You go and work somewhere, start earning. So the son, because he was so conditioned to doing all these wrong things, didn't take these words of his father seriously. He went to his some friend or somewhere, and he got some money, borrowed some money, and came back and gave this money to his father. So father took this money and threw it in the fire, saying that, you are a liar. I knew that you have not worked hard, and this money doesn't belong to you. You are again cheating me. The son was standing there like a tree, unmoved, nothing, no reaction. He was standing there. And then his father told this again. I'm telling you very, very seriously, if you don't take my words seriously, I'm giving you one more chance. Please go and work somewhere and earn money and come back. Otherwise, I will not give you anything. You have to go out of this house. So the son again didn't take it seriously, went to his friend. 1 month passed by, came back, took some money from him, borrowed from him, and gave it to his father. Father again threw it in the fire. Father threw it in the fire and said, you are a liar, and this time I know that it is not your own money, it is not hard-earned money, and he threw it. And when he threw it, again the son was standing like that. This time the father was furious. He said, nothing doing. If this 1 month time that I am giving you, if you don't come back with your own hard-earned money, that's it. You go, you find your place elsewhere. You don't get anything from my property. You don't inherit anything from me. This time the son took it seriously. He started working. He earned some money, came back to his father at the end of 1 month, gave that money to his father. Father took that money, looked at it, and again threw it in the fire, saying that you are again cheating, you are lying. This is not your hard-earned money. I don't believe, I don't trust in you. The son became mad. He went and put his hand in the fire to protect that money, saying that this is hard-earned money. The father now told, now I know that this is your hard-earned money, because you have understood the value of this money, which is hard-earned. Similarly, we don't understand what we have gotten from Srila Prabhupada. Just to give you another, I said two things. One is the story. Second thing, I want to tell you about a devotee who's from Fiji, whom I had met in Bangalore. His name is Vasudev Prabhu. And he was narrating one incident, a real life incident, when Prabhupada had visited to this country called Fiji. And there was a temple. There is a temple which is there now, Kaliya Nartana Krishna. Because it is mentioned that Kaliya took shelter in that island. So the deity name is Kaliya Nartana Krishna. So that temple was getting built, and Prabhupada had gone there to Fiji, and he had some house programs. They were very rich people, this Vasudev Prabhu and his brother, both of them were devotees. Not at that time, but they were very rich, so they had arranged for Prabhupada stay in his house. Prabhupada, along with all his disciples, were staying in his house, and they had a very busy program throughout the day. They came back only at 11:30 p.m. Exactly at 1 a.m., Prabhupada's bell rang. Prabhupada was calling for someone, and this Vasudev Prabhu recollects nobody was around. All the disciples were asleep. So he went and knocked the door of Srila Prabhupada. So when he knocked, Prabhupada said, "Yes." So he said, "I'm Vasudev, can I come in?" Said, "Yes, please come." And then he goes inside, and he saw Prabhupada was busy translating Srimad Bhagavatam. 11:30 he has slept, but still at 1 o'clock he's translating Srimad Bhagavatam. Actually, this Bhagavatam is Prabhupada's heart. In dictaphone at that ripened age at 70, 1 o'clock, he has to get up and translate this. For whom? For what for it is given? What is the value of this? We don't realize. This is the karuna, this is the mercy of a pure devotee. That pure devotee, when we have in our life, we don't need anything. Nothing is required. We just need to follow what process he has given. Like, Sukadev Goswami, Parikshit Maharaj is attributing that I became Siddhosmi just by the mercy of Sukadev Goswami. We all can become Siddha. We all can become fully successful, perfect in our life just by following Srila Prabhupada. So we have discussed two lines. Anybody remembers? Anybody wants to go for it? Okay, one. Okay, you raised hand. Okay, go for it.
Siddhosmi anugrihitosmi.
Siddhosmi anugrihitosmi.
Bhavata karunatmana.
Bhavata karunatmana. Anybody else? Somebody was raising hand here.
Siddhosmi anugrahitosmi.
Siddhosmi anugrihitosmi. Bhavata karunatmana.
Siddhosmi anugrihitosmi.
Siddhosmi anugrihitosmi.
Bhavata karunatmana.
Bhavata karunatmana. Okay, let's go to the third line. Shravito yaccha me sakshat.
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 Anybody wants to go for it?
Savito akshamesacha.
Shravito yaccha me sakshat.
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 Shravito yaccha me sakshat. Anybody else?
Shravito yaccha me sakshat.
Shravito yaccha me sakshat.
Shravito yaccha me sakshat.
Shravito yaccha me sakshat. I'm also noticing people who never say. There are some they don't want to. Actually, you should say. It is not, it is good for us. Bhagavatam is non different from the Lord. Don't worry about the mistakes. Nice little girl, she is able to chant without fearing about. Actually, when we become adult, we become so much conscious whether I said right or not. Don't worry about it. Go for it. Because these are words which are non different from the Lord. You can experience the Lord in your heart. Shravito yaccha me sakshat.
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 साक्षात्
श्रावितो यच्च मे 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 साक्षात्
Okay, Shravita is something which is to be heard orally from the oral reception. Shravito yachame sakshat. Sakshat is personally. Actually, the beauty of this verse is when Parikshit Maharaj is expressing his gratitude, when he's saying that, this is the mercy of Sukadev Goswami, he actually means it. Sometimes we say thank you. Thank you just comes out of our mouth. Some words we put it, we vibrate our lips and we produce that sound, but we don't mean it. That meaning comes when somebody really realizes the importance of the pure devotee spiritual master in one's life, the importance of Bhagavatam, the importance of Bhagavad Gita. So Shravito Yachame Sakshat. Sukadev Goswami, who does not stay in one house for more than the time that is required to milk the cow, spent 7 days. Personally spoke, directly he spoke. What did he speak? Anadi Nidhanam Hari.
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 That Hari who doesn't have a beginning, doesn't have an end. Ana Adi. No Adi, no beginning, no end. Anadi Nidhanam Hari.
Anadi Nidhanam Hari.
There's one devotee by name Anadi Nidhana Dasa. And this devotee, the credit of his is, he is one who has translated Srila Prabhupada's Srimad Bhagavatam into Malayalam. Anybody who speaks Malayalam here? Nobody. Okay. Malayalam translation is not easy, and this devotee was assigned these services. Like, just for your information, if you don't know, Bhagavad Gita in Kannada was translated by Stoka Krishna Maharaj in ISKCON Bangalore. Similarly, these devotees, they take some extra effort to read these books properly and they translate. So there is this devotee by name Anadi Nidhana Das. He has translated the first 2 cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam, just the first 2 cantos. Why it is important to remember this devotee? Because it's easy to remember this verse if you remember that devotee. What is so special about that devotee, Anadi Nidhana Das? He was a devotee. He was a devotee who was, put into such a difficult situation in life. He had a massive accident in a train, which is very rare. Train accidents do not happen, and it is even rarer that if you survive in a train accident. So he survived in the train accident, but his whole body was paralyzed. But since he was given this service, it is mentioned that his hands, his legs, nothing was moving. Yet somehow, with great difficulty, he'll put his this chin on the desk, and he will translate this Bhagavatam in Malayalam. First 2 cantos with great difficulty, with great pain. This is a very important thing to remember in life. Often in life we blame our situations, circumstances. कितना problem है मेरे life में, आपको पता है? पता है क्या मेरे life में क्या चल रहा है? We say this. We say this if small little thing comes in our life, we say, my God, how much of problem is going on in my life? And this problem, I don't find any solution, there is no end. We should remember Anadi Nidhana Das, at least one devotee, whom I know, how difficult it is. He was going through this pain, yet he did it. Anadi Nidhana Hari. There is a very nice passage which comes in one place. I want you to pay attention to this passage. Beautiful passage. It comes, let me read that. This comes in 8th canto, 22nd chapter, 29th verse. The Lord says, although bereft of his riches, fallen from his original position, defeated and arrested by his enemies, rebuked and deserted by his relatives and friends, although suffering the pain of being bound, and although rebuked and cursed by his spiritual master. Do you know whom I am talking about? Wake up, sleeping souls. Okay, let me read again. Although bereft of his riches, fallen from his original position, defeated and arrested by his enemies, rebuked and deserted by his relatives and friends, although suffering the pain of being bound, and although rebuked and cursed by his spiritual master. Yes, that's it. Bali Maharaj. Bali Maharaj, being fixed in his vow, did not give up his truthfulness. It was certainly with pretension that I spoke about religious principles, but he did not give up religious principles for his true to his word. This is actually Prabhupada's purport. In this, he says, this is a verse which is spoken by the Lord himself. Despite all this situation, he was defeated, arrested, his relatives deserted, his spiritual master cursed him. Everybody was against him. Despite all those, he did not give up his words of truthfulness. This is very powerful. And this is what Prabhupada says, this is the real meaning of indifference to the needs of subtle body. There are needs of subtle body. We are hankering after so many things in our life. Little here and there, little our selfish interest is hampered, then we are very disturbed. We will not do this. This is an example. Anadi Nidhana Prabhu, Anadi Nidhanam Hari. So that Lord, his people are engaged in devotional service without getting affected, without caring for the pain of gross and subtle body. That is what is expected. Now that I've come to the end of this session, now that we are coming to going to start a new year, where we will have 365 pages of blank pages of a book, which we have to fill ourselves. Should be very, very determined to apply this knowledge of Bhagavatam in our life. We should always remember how merciful we are, how greatly fortunate we are because we have got Srila Prabhupada in our lives. How we have been handpicked by Prabhupada from some drain, and we've been given this special position where we are able to engage in devotional service to Nitai Gauranga. You don't believe in any of the things? Look at this beautiful temple which is manifesting. It may appear like, it just happened by chance. Maybe one temple is coming up here. It is not. It's a miracle actually. It's a miracle of Srila Prabhupada that a temple like this is coming up, even in a place where this atmosphere is surcharged with sinfulness. People are so lazy, so much in the mode of ignorance and passion, they have no idea, but it is manifesting despite the fact that we've got so much of lacunae, so much of shortcomings, despite the fact that we're not able to even follow the rules and regulations or the instructions given by our spiritual master 100%. Still, by out of his mercy, this is manifesting. Some people say, no, you ISKCON people, you have a lot of money. You can do anything. Actually, I'll tell you an inside story. And those of us who are involved in the temple construction from beginning since 2016, in the year 2018, same people, the people who are involved in building this temple, were involved in buying a property in Nashua, 146 Main Street. And we could not purchase that property because we were falling short by 200,000. Right? It was 200,000 exactly. That's what we could not raise that money, and that property we had to let go, and we were feeling so sad, so devastated. Same people, but when the mercy of the Lord, when the mercy of pure devotee flows, the same people can get empowered to do something even bigger than what we can even anticipate. It is beyond anyone's capability. It is beyond one's intelligence. It is beyond one's money. It is mercy of pure devotee. That mercy comes in our life, but if we are so ignorant, if we are so much sleeping in our life, then mercy also goes away. So on this night, when we are thinking, we are introspecting, when we are reflecting, when we are trying to find out what went right, what went wrong, we should take this as topmost priority. This is the biggest fortune of mine. ब्रह्मांड भ्रमित कौन भाग्यवान जीव गुरु कृष्ण प्रसाद पाए भक्ति लता बीज. कौन भाग्यवान जीव? Very, very rare one person gets this bhakti lata. Everything else you will get it in this life. There is no struggle for that. Bhakti lata beej is the rarest of rare. By the mercy of a pure devotee, one gets that. There will be more wonderful things which will happen here, but there will be people who will be still missing out because they are not able to perceive the mercy of a pure devotee in their lives. There will be beautiful deities when they will appear here in this place. They will have wonderful pastimes. It's okay. I'm reminded of a very beautiful verse, and with that we will close for sure. We will chant that verse that we have been chanting so nicely, fully. But before that, I want to chant one verse which is written by Rupa Goswami. How many of you know who's Rupa Goswami? Who is he?
Goswami.
Oh. Okay. Anybody who knows anything other than that he's just a Goswami, anything else?
He wrote a lot of, I don't remember what he wrote.
One book, if you tell.
Some one of them he wrote.
There are two books which he has written starting with Nectar.
Nectar of Instruction, Nectar of Devotion.
Very good. So both the books are written by Rupa Goswami, prolific Acharya. One beautiful verse he says, that verse we will chant once. We will chant our verse that we've been chanting, which talks about the expression of gratitude, the expression of mercy of Parikshit to Sukadeva Goswami, and how that one thing we should always remember in our life, no matter where we are, in whatever position we are, we should always remember how fortunate we are because there is mercy of Srila Prabhupada on us. Before we go there, I'll chant this verse. This comes in the poetic writing of Rupa Goswami, which is called Padyavali. So he's writing Ambodhi Stalatam, Stalam Jaladhitam, Dhuli Labah Sailatam, Sailo Mrit Kanatam Trinam, Kulisatam, Vajram Trinakshunatam, Banhi Sitalatam Himam Dahanatam, Ayati Yasya Chaya, Leela Durlita Adbhuta, Vyasanine Krishnaya Tasmai Namaha. You may feel that this verse is some very complicated Sanskrit word. It is very simple. Actually, when we read the words slowly, there is no pressure. If you read it slowly, you can understand the verse very nicely. The first thing that he's telling is Ambodhi Sthalatam. Anybody knows what is the meaning of the word Ambodhi?
Ocean.
Ocean. Who said ocean? Oh, great. Yeah, that's the right word. Ambodhi is a vast ocean. Ambo is water, Ambodhi is Jaladhi is ocean. So Ambodhi Stalatam. The Lord can make a vast ocean a piece of land. He can transform it. He can make it into land. Ambodhi Stalatam, Stalam Jaladhitam. Stalam, a land, he can transform it to an ocean. Ambodhi Stalatam, Stalam Jaladhitam. Dhuli Labha Sailatam. A speck of dust, just as simple dust. The Lord, if he wants, he can transform it to Sailatam, to a mountain. And Sailo Mrit Kanatam. Sailo, if a mountain, if he wants, he can transform it to a speck of dust, a particle of dust. Then he's telling Trinam Kulishatam. Small grass, he can make into a thunderbolt. Vajram Trinakshunatam. Vajram Trinakshunatam. So he can make the thunderbolt into a grass or a very insignificant grass. Then Banhi Sitalatam. So he can, a huge forest fire like Krishna, just gulp it. He took it inside. Banhi Sitalatam. He can make the fire transform into water. And Banhi Sitalatam. Then Himam Dahanatam. Great vasts of snow, Himam, he can transform into fire. So what is going on? Okay, we understand the Lord can do all these things. Yasya Chaya. The Lord does this out of his, when he desires, he does that. The question which Rupa Goswami is asking, which he wants the readers to ask, when does Krishna desire? So the answer he is giving is when there is a need for the devotee. When there is a need for the devotee does not desire. But when Krishna sees that my devotee is in trouble and I need to reciprocate to his devotion, then he does these wonderful acts, which is ordinarily not possible. Miracles like this can happen if the devotees desire. Krishna can manifest. Same Krishna can manifest in our heart, can come and transform our lives, provided we do this. We understand this process and take it wholeheartedly. So that being said, I have already exceeded my time, but let's chant one more time and we will close with that. Rajo Vacha, Rajo Vacha, Siddhosmi Anugrihitosmi, सिद्धोऽस्मि अनुगृहीतोऽस्मि
सिद्धोऽस्मि अनुगृहीतोऽस्मि
भवता करुणात्मना
भवता करुणात्मना
भवता करुणात्मना
भवता करुणात्मना
श्रावितो यच्च मे साक्षात्
श्रावितो यच्च मे साक्षात्
श्रावितो यच्च मे साक्षात्
श्रावितो यच्च मे साक्षात्
अनादिनिधनं हरि
अनादिनिधनं हरि
अनादिनिधनं हरि
अनादिनिधनं हरि
Wishing you all a very happy Krishna conscious New Year.